The life of David Gahan, the legendary vocalist for Depeche Mode, has been a chaotic mix of stardom and personal crisis. There was a sad fight with heroin addiction that tarnished Gahan's journey, even if his musical profession brought recognition and affection. When the strain of his addiction became too much in August 1995, he locked himself in a toilet and was about to cut his wrists to end it all. In the aftermath of that incident, Gahan said, "I didn't truly want to die. I wasn't looking to leave it all behind. What I really needed was for someone to notice, to come and check on me, to make sure I was okay. My ego had gotten so inflated that I thought I could even control when I would die." A picture of contrasting extremes emerges from Gahan's life story. One side is the exceptional artist whose sound ushered in a new age. The other is the guy who confronted the depressing truths of his own addiction, sickness, and physical and mental limitations. Like the music he has made with Depeche Mode, his personal story is full of dramatic and emotive moments, because it covers both the heights of artistic triumph and the underlying fragility that lurks behind everything. As we explore the surprising facts that Dave Gahan, who is now 62 years old, has just verified, it becomes evident that certain long-standing doubts have been fully cleared. However, in order to really understand the importance of these discoveries, we need to turn back the clock and look at his formative years. A spectacular and sometimes turbulent trip would characterize Gahan's life, and it all starts in his boyhood. Vince Clarke, Andy Fletcher, and Martin Gore established Composition of Sound in March 1980. Clarke sang and played guitar, Gore was the keyboard player, and Fletcher was the bassist. As the electronic music movement of the period gained momentum, Clarke and Fletcher began to use synthesizers instead of more conventional instruments. Dave Gahan became a member of the group at this first stage. Once Gahan joined the band, they changed their name to Depeche Mode, after a fashion magazine with the same name that Gahan found interesting. Clarke was struck by Gahan's rendition of David Bowie's Heroes. The early 1980s synth pop and new wave scenes were shaped by Depeche Mode. They were unique in the music industry for their synthesizer-driven tunes and profoundly reflective lyrics. Depeche Mode are undeniably one of the most significant bands of the contemporary era, having issued 15 studio albums, 4 greatest hits collections, and 2 remix albums over their career. Record sales of over 100 million copies attest to their worldwide influence. Their many accomplishments include 4 singles that peaked at #1 on Billboard's Alternative Songs chart: Enjoy the Silence, 1990, Policy of Truth, 1990, I Feel You, 1993, and Walking in My Shoes, 1993. Like other tracks from their discography, they have become classics of the alternative music scene. Vincent Jones oversaw production, and Gahan and Thomas Anselmi were reportedly working on a project titled Mirror in July 2007, according to Sideline magazine. Knox Chandler, who had mixed the live DVD Live Monsters and had previously performed with Gahan's touring band, was also a part of the project. Pianist Mike Garson, best known for his work with David Bowie, and Joe D'Alessandro, a prominent player in Andy Warhol's circle, performed spoken monologues on the album. You could hear Gahan's voice on the October 2008 song Nostalgia, and by early 2009 you could have the whole album at your fingertips. The music video included Gahan as well. On a tune titled Visitors, which was released under the moniker Friars, Gahan surprised everyone by collaborating with producer and former Chore guitarist Luke Smith. His contributions to Soul Saver's 2012 May 21st studio album, The Light the Dead Sea, included both vocals and lyrics. He sang and played harmonica on the song Low Guns from the English band Six Toes' 2014 compilation album, The Morning After, which was out on November 18, 2013. In 2009, the deluxe edition of Sounds of the Universe included an alternate version of Jezebel by Six Toes. The Light the Dead Sea is an album that Soul Savers and Six Toes collaborated on. Gahan collaborated extensively with Soul Savers in 2015, contributing lead vocals for the album Angels and Ghosts. Digital distribution of the album's first single, All of This and Nothing, began on September 11, 2015. Included on the 2017 album Cryosleep by Null Plus Void was the song Where I Wait, which included Gahan as an artist. There were 3 remixes of this song that appeared on the album. Also in May of 2018, he contributed vocals to an enhanced version of Ocean by Goldfrapp. A noteworthy and esteemed experience for the band, Goldfrapp lauded the partnership. Gahan contributed vocals to a Jenny Lee Lindbergh song and sang Metallica's Nothing Else Matters for the 2021 charity tribute album, The Metallica Blacklist. Once again, collaborating with Soul Savers, he put out a compilation of cover songs titled Imposter on November 12, 2021. The Task Has Overwhelmed Us, the 4th book of the tribute series to Jeffrey Lee Pierce Sessions, was released in 2023 and included a cover of Mother of Earth by the Gun Club, to which Gahan contributed. Disputes have surrounded Gahan's life, as they do with every legendary figure. Wait for further information on the perilous obstacles he encountered and how he managed to overcome them. New York City has been Gahan's home since 1997. It is his 3rd marriage, and he is now wed to the Greek-American actress and director Jennifer Sklias. Stella Rose, their daughter born in 1999, is an aspiring musician. They are married. Even Sklias's kid from a prior relationship has Gahan acting as a father figure. Jack, his son from his previous marriage to Joanne Fox, is another addition to his family. Teresa Conroy, a publicist who had previously worked with Depeche Mode, was his 2nd wife, and they were married for 4 years. Gahan converted to Greek Orthodoxy before he wed Sklias. Recognizing religion's profound and enduring importance, he said in an interview from 2008 that he was confused about his personal views, while also discussing his complicated sentiments regarding religion. He spoke of a powerful yet nebulous sense of oneness with a divine force. Gahan has previously mentioned his ADHD symptoms in an interview from 1997. It wasn't until 2017 that he and bandmate Martin Gore were both diagnosed with autism. In the United States, Teresa Conroy was the publicist for Depeche Mode. The specifics of her hiring are murky, although she started working with the group around 1988. She was described as the U.S. publicity officer for Depeche Mode in a picture from the winter 88-89th edition of Bong magazine. Teresa is seen in the documentary 101 chatting with the band and taking their calls. Common responsibilities of a press officer include cultivating positive news coverage, liaising with the media, and overseeing the organization's public image. Meeting organizers, media relations specialists, and relationship managers generally work for big businesses, nonprofits, or public sector groups. This position requires strong interpersonal and communication abilities, both of which Teresa most certainly had. Little is known about Teresa's first encounter with Dave Gahan or their early relationship. Dave was a married man with a small kid at the time with Joanne Fox. In 1991, Dave uprooted his life in England and joined Teresa in the United States. His family remained behind. Even though he had a large, loving family, a brand new kid, a large house, and many automobiles, he still saw his life in England as tedious and secure. His wife, Joanne, was against his plans to go to California, despite his desires. Part of the reason Dave Gahan wanted to leave England was that, following the Violator tour, when Depeche Mode was very successful all over the globe, fans started coming up unannounced at his house. His blossoming romance with Teresa was another factor in his decision to go to the United States. Soon after his arrival in Los Angeles, they began sharing a home. Dave found Teresa intriguing because of her unconventional upbringing and striking personality, which featured tattoos and a laid-back approach to drugs, attributes that were unusual for her era. Dave was also introduced to new musical and cultural possibilities via her contacts in the American music industry. Teresa seemed like a companion who wanted the same thing as him, to live freely, unconcerned with what other people thought of him. Dave and Teresa were wed in a chapel in Las Vegas in April 1992 by an Elvis impersonator. Teresa didn't coerce Dave into using heroin, but she did provide him opportunities to relapse, as Dave said. He said that he had experimented with heroin and other drugs in Basildon before to meeting her, but that he only became addicted once they were together. It was subsequently broken, but Dave had promised not to use needles, and Teresa did not inject narcotics, so he explained. He went on to say that Teresa probably didn't anticipate his intense response and addiction since she wasn't a frequent heroin user. Teresa had no choice except to give up on helping Dave when he was already severely hooked. Also, Dave said that he acquired a bunch of tattoos when he was with Teresa, which Teresa could have had an impact on him. Their identical tattoos, which include an sign on their right chests, are still visible today. His decision to enter a drug rehabilitation center marked the end of their relationship. After Dave confided in Teresa about his struggles, she remained unmotivated to help him overcome his drug abuse. At this same moment, Dave realized that his relationship with Teresa was coming to an end. Dave later thought their love was imbalanced, and Teresa went her own way to concentrate on her life. Teresa sued Dave, attributing her troubles on him, despite her earlier encouragement of self-love. Although he denied that Teresa was to blame, Dave's drug misuse and suicide attempt followed Teresa's departure. He came dangerously close to death in 1996 from an overdose just before their split was formally announced. Similar to the challenges he had when in the limelight, Gahan's private life was rife with problems. He overcame substantial personal obstacles and fought addiction. Regardless, he persisted thanks to his passion for music and his dogged persistence. Many obstacles, including severe health issues, plagued Dave's life as an adult. He handled most of these things, but everything changed when he told his colleagues and followers that he had cancer, which may have killed him. It would have been easy for anybody to lose hope hearing this news. The problematic issue started just before the Athens, Greece event. After Dave had excruciating agony in his dressing room, he was whisked away to the hospital in no time. His doctors informed him that he required immediate surgery after discovering a tumor in his bladder. Thankfully, the tumor had stopped growing within the bladder. In an emotionally charged interview, Dave described what happened. At first, the physician suspected a stomach illness. Nevertheless, the tumor was detected via ultrasound scans. Although Dave was hesitant to end his current 8-month trip, the gravity of the diagnosis and the doctor's thorough explanation persuaded him to do so. The tumor was effectively excised during the operation that he proceeded with. Even though he was finally given the all-clear, Dave said that he had been very terrified of dying during that challenging period. Given Dave's resiliency, do you believe he will be able to overcome this difficult period? After his operation, Dave went through a really difficult time. It was emotionally and physically exhausting to recover. He and his wife Jennifer had some really candid and profound talks during this period. Jennifer, who was visibly distressed, voiced her concerns, and Dave attempted to calm her by expressing optimism about his recovery. She begged him not to act as if he had already resolved everything. Jennifer had the impression that Dave was mentally preparing himself to die and that their children would be okay without him. Jennifer found it unbearable to even consider the possibility of losing Dave. Goodbye conversations are never easy, and the thought of having to say goodbye may weaken the strongest of individuals. Dave established a new pattern in his life as he began to feel better. He started getting cystoscopies, in which a camera is placed into his urethra to examine his internal organs on a regular basis. For a while, he felt uneasy about this procedure. Still, Dave eventually got used to it. After he got over the pain of the first appointment, he began to see the checkups as a gift from God that showed him he was alive and loved by his family. I gained a deeper and deeper appreciation for life with each passing day. He gained a deep appreciation for the significance of each moment and learned to appreciate the little things on this trip. Dave had been struggling with a number of health problems, both mental and physical, prior to his cancer diagnosis. Addiction and serious health issues have been a continual presence in his life. He persevered through many near-death encounters that would have devastated most people. Even after he beat heroin addiction, paramedics in Dave's hometown dubbed him the Cat, after his remarkable capacity to persevere through his worst days in Los Angeles. Amazingly, he survived 4 near-death incidents. His October 1993 performance in New Orleans, when he had a minor heart attack due to drug usage, was one of the most terrifying. The severity of the situation forced the other members of Depeche Mode to perform an unscheduled encore without him. Nevertheless, this was only a small part of a much more extensive and distressing narrative. Dave had slashed his wrists earlier in an effort to take his life. After the fact, he made it clear that what he did was an extreme plea for assistance. He had deliberately gone to a spot where he knew help would be on the way. He was on the verge of despair due to the enormous sadness and loneliness he experienced throughout that period. After consuming an excessive amount of speedballs at the Sunset Marquis Hotel in Los Angeles, Dave encountered a potentially fatal situation. After 2 minutes of cardiac arrest, the doctors were able to bring him back to life. Dave recalled the overpowering blackness he saw as the darkest black he had ever experienced, describing the experience as bizarre. While all this mayhem was going on, he could still recall staring at his own body. A police officer had him held when he eventually came to. In these dark times, we see a guy who is haunted by demons that threaten to drag him down, and who is always on the brink of death. Many fans were shocked and saddened to learn of Dave Gahan's battles with drug usage. They had no idea this troublesome side of their beloved actor was coming to light. The choice to attend treatment demonstrated Gahan's great commitment to alter his life and concentrate on his rehabilitation when he faced legal concerns due to his drug usage. Despite the heavy mental and physical toll, these trials started his path to recovery and rejuvenation. Andy Fletcher's untimely death in 2022 came at a terrible time for Gahan, who had just triumphed over cancer and other health issues. Fans were already grieving deeply over Gahan's personal struggles when Fletcher's untimely death came as a shock. It was clear that the band members and fans alike were grieving a profound and everlasting loss. Depeche Mode declared their intention to release their first album without Fletcher after his demise. In a tribute to their late co-founder, Gahan said that he and Martin Gore will finish the next LP, Memento Mori. They made the record with Fletcher in mind, hoping that it would serve as a musical memorial to him. In March 2023, the pair was set to play in renowned venues such as New York's Madison Square Garden, Chicago's United Center, Los Angeles' Kia Forum, and Toronto's Scotiabank Arena as part of their North American tour. There was also planning for a European leg of the tour, which would conclude on June 17th at Twickenham Stadium in London. The difficulties of the early epidemic inspired the idea for the project. Depeche Mode had to make a tough decision after the death of Andy Fletcher, a friend and bandmate of the group. They continued with their tour despite their overwhelming sadness, since they believed it was Fletcher's wish. Playing the music live took on more significance for Dave Gahan as a memorial to their departed buddy. Carrying on with the trip became a means of honoring Fletcher's legacy and fulfilling his intentions. The outpouring of support from fans who contributed condolences, images, and words about Andy's influence on their lives moved Dave and Martin Gore to tears. Aortic dissection, a rapid and deadly rip in the main artery of the heart, was eventually determined to be the cause of Fletcher's death. Thanks in great part to the enduring legacy of Andy Fletcher, Depeche Mode continues to be a beloved and influential force in the music industry. Despite the hardships and obstacles that have defined their existence, please hit the like and subscribe button if you found this video meaningful. Looking forward to seeing you in more video content soon.